Inside Edith Wembley's immaculate living room, a lifetime of memories was lovingly curated on every surface. That evening, the 77-year-old, elegant in a simple navy blue dress, adjusted a framed photo of her late husband James on the mantelpiece. She smoothed invisible wrinkles from her dress and glanced at the grandfather clock. It was 6:05. At 77, she thought, you learn that rituals are important. That Tuesday evening, my ritual was preparing for a family dinner. Garrett had been so insistent. A special announcement, he'd said. As she walked past a photo of a young, beaming Garrett holding his first fish, she smiled, but her gaze returned to the photo of James. What would you say, James, like she whispered to the picture? You always knew how to handle him. Her mind drifted back 15 years to her warm kitchen. A younger Edith packed a lunchbox while James sipped coffee at the table. A 39-year-old Garrett was just heading out. Thanks for the loan for the car deposit, Mum, he'd said. You're a lifesaver. I'll pay you back next month, promise. Edith had simply waved it off. Don't be silly, dear. It's a gift. Just be safe. After Garrett left, James had taken her hand, his eyes kind but knowing. You've got a heart of gold, Edie, but that boy, you've got to let him stand on his own 2 feet. Don't let them take you for granted. She'd replied, He's our son, James, and her husband had nodded. I know, that's why we have to teach him to be a man, not just our boy. A buzzing from her phone brought her back to the present. Expecting a message from Garrett, she put on her reading glasses and smiled. But the smile vanished as she read the words. Mom, so sorry, something's come up. Marissa is hosting colleagues tonight. We'll have to reschedule. Confusion clouded her face before another message appeared right below it. You weren't invited. My wife doesn't want you there. The words hung in the air, cold and brutal. Her hand trembled and the phone slipped from her fingers, clattering onto the floor. She sank slowly into her armchair, her breath shallow, staring blankly at the smiling photos of a family that now felt like strangers. The grandfather clock chimed 7, the time dinner was supposed to have started. Edith hadn't moved. Finally, she leaned down and picked up the phone, reading the text again as if to decipher a foreign language. It wasn't a sudden cancellation, she thought. It was a curtain being ripped away, revealing a truth I had spent years refusing to see. Her gaze fell on a glossy brochure for River Ridge Estates, which triggered another memory. 6 months ago, she was in a bank manager's office with Garrett. The manager had looked at her with concern. A cashier's check for £120,000. Are you absolutely certain, Mrs. Wembley? Garrett had patted her hand smoothly. It's an investment in our future, Alan. Mum knows that. There'll be a lovely guest room on the ground floor, just for her. Reassured, Edith had signed the papers, thinking, James left me well provided for. What's the point of money if you can't help your family? The memory galvanized her. With new purpose, Edith walked to an old bureau and pulled out a thick folder labeled Garrett. Sitting at her dining table, she opened it to find an overflow of receipts and bank statements. As she picked up a receipt for a kitchen renovation, she could hear her daughter-in-law Marissa's voice in her head. It's just... This kitchen is so dated, Edith. A statement for private school tuition brought back Garrett's voice. You want your grandson to have the best chance, don't you? One by one, she laid out the documents for the car insurance, the country club membership, the roof repairs, each a ghost of a conversation, a memory of manipulation. Methodically, she tallied them on a notepad until she reached a final stark number. 174, she whispered. Looking from the number to James's photo, a new resolve hardened in her eyes. With a calm she hadn't felt in years, Edith called her bank. Yes, my name is Edith Wembley, she said, her voice serene. I would like to cancel all automatic payments, direct debits, and standing orders from all of my accounts, effective immediately. She listened patiently. Yes, I understand there are quite a few, all of them, and I also wish to begin the process of revoking my son, Garrett Wembley's power of attorney. Yes, I'll be there tomorrow morning to sign the paperwork, but the suspension needs to happen now, thank you. After she hung up, her phone immediately began to buzz with Garrett's name flashing on the screen. With a steady hand, she powered it off. The silence in the room was no longer empty, it was peaceful. The next day, Edith sat opposite her lawyer, Francis Whitaker. I want to change my will, Francis, and set up an irrevocable trust to protect my assets. When he asked what prompted the decision, she replied simply, Family circumstances have changed. I've spent a lifetime putting others first. It's time to put myself first. Francis nodded, a flicker of understanding in his eyes. James always said you were stronger than you looked. I'm glad to see he was right. That afternoon, a frantic Garrett stood at her door. Mom, what have you done? The mortgage payment was declined. The bank called Marissa. She's hysterical. Edith calmly offered him tea, but he waved it away. Tea? Did you hear me? We could lose the house. Yes, Edith replied. I canceled all financial support, all 174 payments. I have no intention of resuming them. Garrett stared, dumbfounded. Why? Is this about the text? Mom, I'm sorry. It was stupid. Marissa was stressed. You what, Garrett? Edith cut in. You decided to make her happy by insulting your mother? I paid for the very house you just barred me from. I funded the lifestyle that allows your wife to be stressed about her dinner party. In Retty. I expected a little respect. We do respect you. We love you, he insisted. Do you? Edith asked. When was the last time you called just to ask how I was? Not because you needed money or a babysitter or a loan, just to talk. Garrett opened his mouth, then closed it. His silence was deafening. I want you to leave, Edith said quietly. When he protested, she stood firm. I'm not doing anything to you, Garrett. I'm simply stopping what I've been doing for you. There's a difference. Please go. He stared at her as if she were a stranger, then turned and slammed the door. Edith flinched, but did not crumble. 2 days later, Marissa arrived, impeccably dressed and holding a box from an expensive bakery. Edith, darling, she began with a fixed smile. I think there's been a terrible misunderstanding. Let's not waste time, Marissa, Edith said. You're not here to apologize. You're here for the money. Marissa's smile tightened. That's not fair. We are a family. You are tearing this family apart over one silly message. We could lose the house. My house, you mean, the one I paid for. Marissa's voice turned to ice. You will regret this, Edith. We are the only family you have. Who will take care of you when you're old and frail? Edith offered a small, sad smile. The same person who has always taken care of me, Marissa. Myself. Now I believe you know the way out. Marissa glared, her facade gone, and stormed out. A week later, her grandson Toby called. Grandma, my credit card's been blocked. I can't pay my rent. What am I supposed to do? You're 23, Toby. You have a job. It's time you learn to live within your means. But you've always helped. And that was my mistake, Edith said. That ends now. I love you, which is why I refuse to continue funding a lifestyle you can't afford. It's time to grow up. In the evenings that followed, only her granddaughter Rebecca visited. It's chaos at home, she said over tea. All they talk about is money, but I want you to know, Grandma, I think you did the right thing. They took you for granted. Edith's eyes glistened. Thank you, my dear. That means more than you know. They smiled at each other, their connection warm and real, untainted by money. 6 months later, the golden light of the Italian sunset bathed a beautiful terrace overlooking the rolling hills of Tuscany. Edith, looking relaxed and happy in a linen dress, sipped a glass of red wine. Her friend, Laureen, sat opposite her. To the new Edith Wembley, Laureen toasted. World traveler, Edith smiled. To finally being myself. Her phone buzzed with a text from Rebecca, a picture of her new apartment. Hope you're having a wonderful time, Grandma. Edith smiled and texted back. A moment later, the phone rang, flashing Garrett on the screen. 6 months ago, her heart would have hammered. Now, she looked at the screen, took a long, deliberate sip of her wine, and placed the phone face down. N on the table, silencing the ring. She turned her face to the magnificent Tuscan sunset, a look of profound peace in her eyes. She was not waiting for anyone. She was simply here, and she was free.